Dear friends, on this quiet, rainy evening, I invite you to listen to a story, a parable about forgiveness, humility, and the strength of the human soul. Sometimes the rain doesn't just wash the dust from the earth, it cleanses our hearts as well. And as the bells ring over the temple and rain falls gently from the sky, let us hear the story of a man who once found his way back to the light. Long ago, in a small town at the foot of the hills, there stood an old temple. Its dome had darkened with time, yet its bells still rang as purely as on the day they were first lifted into the tower. Each evening, when clouds gathered and mist rolled down from the mountains, the sound of those bells reminded the townspeople of eternal things, of God, of conscience, and of mercy. In that same town lived a man named Michael. Once, he had been a builder, crafting homes, bridges, even helping to restore the very temple whose bells still called the faithful. People respected him, sought his advice, and trusted his word. But over the years, bitterness took root in his heart. One of his fellow craftsmen had betrayed him, taking both the money and the credit for a project they had built together. From that day forward, Michael's spirit dimmed. He stopped going to the temple, turned away from neighbors, closed his workshop, and lived alone, as though the sky above him had turned gray forever. Years passed. One autumn afternoon, a heavy rain swept over the town. Michael walked slowly down the old cobblestone street, passing the temple. The bells were ringing, their echoes blending with the rhythm of the falling rain. He stopped beneath a tree, watching the raindrops trickle down the temple roof. Then the doors of the temple opened, and an elderly priest stepped outside. His hair was silver, his robe soaked, but his eyes were calm and bright. He looked at Michael and said gently, "You've been standing in the rain for a long time, my son. Why not come inside? The house of God is open." Michael lowered his eyes and replied, "I am not worthy to enter. My heart is full of resentment. I cannot forgive." The priest smiled softly. "Tell me, does the rain choose whom to wash and whom to avoid? It falls upon everyone, the righteous and the broken alike. Perhaps your soul, too, is ready to be cleansed." Michael stood silent. The rain grew stronger, the sky darkened, and the bells rang louder, as if heaven itself was calling him home. He took a step forward, and entered the temple. Inside, it smelled of wax and wet wood. He knelt before the image of Christ, his hands trembling. Tears mingled with raindrops on his face. And at last, he whispered words he hadn't spoken in years. "Lord, give me the strength to forgive. I no longer wish to live in darkness." In that moment, something within him shifted, a weight lifted, a stone broke apart. He felt warmth rising in his chest, not from the candles, but from the quiet mercy of God. He understood then, resentment chains the soul, but forgiveness sets it free. Even if no one else heard his prayer, God did. From that day, Michael began returning to the temple. He no longer sought human justice, only peace within. Whenever it rained, he would step outside and watch the water fall. He would tell his neighbors, "Look, the rain does not choose. It simply gives. So must mercy, it should flow freely, to all." Time passed. The man who had betrayed him fell gravely ill. People avoided him, no one came to help. But Michael did. He brought food, sat by his bedside, and said, "Let this rain wash away the years between us. Life is too short to keep a storm inside the heart." The man wept, unable to speak. And that night, for the first time in many years, light returned to both their homes. And so ends the story of Michael, the man who learned to forgive under the sound of bells and rain. Rain does not choose whom to bless. Neither does God's mercy. If your heart still carries pain, let the rain wash it away. And when peace returns, you too will hear the bells again, not those of bronze, but the quiet ones of heaven. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share, so that together we may spread light, mercy, and forgiveness to all who listen.